stop what you're doing and pay attention. What I'm about to show you could change your life and the life of your children for generations to come. I'm going to show you what successful men in history have secretly passed down. It's the one thing that all men respect and all women are attracted to. Over the next 40 minutes, you and I are going to have a conversation about leadership and discipline and how to wield power and influence in your life, with your family, and in your community. Because now more than ever, your nation needs you. Things have gotten pretty bad out there. Our culture is in decay. We have corrupt politicians working for the deep state instead of for us. They've outsourced our jobs to the third world. Government schools fail to teach basic life skills. Inflation robs young people of the American dream, while lethal drugs flood our streets, and illegal aliens flood our borders, raping and killing our women and children. The specter of hopelessness has been spread like a virus. None of this is by accident, and no one is coming to save you. The people in charge have done this to you on purpose, and although Donald Trump may do everything in his power, it's up to us, the men of this nation, to take back our cities and towns, to take back our culture and usher in a new dawn for the home of the brave, the land of the free, where truth, justice, and the American way reign supreme. The prescription to winning back our cities and towns is simple, but it won't be easy. The only thing that has ever changed the world was an organized group of like-minded men with single-mindedness of purpose. I want to teach you how to start and grow a business, how to own and control commercial real estate, how to wield influence and power in local politics, how to earn your place with a band of brothers, all conspiring for one another's success. But the first step is for you to level up, to heed the call to be the leader you've been looking for. Our women, our children, and frankly, our nation needs leadership more than ever before. You can be that leader. Today, I will show you how. Over the last 20 years, I've had the incredible opportunity to be a real estate developer, a public speaker, and I've raised tens of millions of dollars for business startups and real estate projects. I didn't go to college, and my family was not rich. In my 20s, I started a construction business in Los Angeles and fought tooth and nail to grow that into a multi-million-dollar-a-year company. I started flipping houses. Then I started buying lots to develop. I bought apartment buildings and managed a private equity fund with a $100 million portfolio that I founded. I shared a stage with the great Tony Robbins and was invited to speak at Harvard. I have a beautiful woman and 3 happy, healthy children. I am a self-made man. And then in 2020, when the COVID scare hit and the government-forced lockdowns began, there were un-American people burning down our cities. The government put brave young men on trial for doing the right thing, trying to protect people and property when the police failed to do their job. Then they stole an election and later prosecuted our president for saying so. I knew I had to do something. I got involved politically to try to extinguish the chaos, and the next thing I knew, the FBI stormed my house in a pre-dawn raid with over 20 armed men. They took my electronic devices and then took me to court, accusing me of defrauding my investors. The U.S. attorney used a photo of me wearing a red MAGA hat to prove to the judge I was a, quote, threat to society. They threw me in prison and publicly assassinated my character. Show me the man and I will show you the crime, is my experience with the U.S. Injustice Department, and I know I was not the only one. President Trump, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani, Peter Navarro, and over 1,000 more. How I and many other patriots were treated was wrong. It was evil. Perhaps worst of all, it was anti-American. I never want this to happen to any of my fellow Americans again. So while I sat in federal prison, I thought long and hard about how to combat this form of tyranny. The Western world needs strong men to lead our people once again. And so I researched our ancestors to discover how great men of history were able to influence massive change in the world. And with this information, I want to empower you. This is why I want to teach you what I know the good, the bad, and the ugly, about obtaining influence in your community, and then using it to take our nation back, one city, one town, one county, one state at a time. Some might say, this is my revenge fuck to the feds. I am on a mission to create a new nobility in America, to teach young American men to level up, physically, spiritually, in relationships with women, and of course in business. I call them warriors. I named this system of success, power, and influence Western Warrior. Not because we are planning a hot war with anyone, nor will anyone catch us LARPing in the streets like some paramilitary group. We call it Warrior because the warrior spirit of our ancestors is calling us to win back our nation and the whole Western world. The war of the future will not be fought with men lining up in the streets for a physical fight. No, the war of the future will take place first in the mind of the individual, to choose to become the best we can be, and then to lead others. The real battle will be for the hearts and minds of the rest of our people. To do this, we will declare war on mediocrity, to eradicate it from our mind and from every aspect of ourselves. Then we will lead others to do the same. Only then will we be capable warriors in the ongoing culture war the globalists and the left have been waging against our people for 50 years. We will win this. We must, to secure the existence of Western civilization and a bright future for our children. To get started, today I'm going to teach you 3 secrets that will put you on the road to self-mastery. After that, I'm going to invite you to download my book, Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, that will show you how to weaponize your mind so you can grow a business, succeed with women, and become the type of man you would look up to and follow. To discover the secrets that will be revealed to you today, I traveled all around the world, investing a significant amount of money and countless hours learning from wise mentors in business, psychology, and influence. I read hundreds of books, studied under spiritual leaders, and invested in both legal and financial advice. Most importantly, I spent more than 10,000 hours implementing and testing what I learned while I built a real estate development company. I took what worked and assembled it into one complete system. A game, actually, complete with a scorecard that will absolutely catapult anyone who plays it to the next level in life. The 3 secrets we are going to unpack today are: Secret number 1, weaponize your mind. How to master your own mind by eliminating negative thought patterns, reframing limiting beliefs, and installing new programs that will get you what you want. Secret number 2, we live by a code. How to gain instant trust and rapport with people so you can assemble partnerships, lead teams, and build organizations that are fully committed to achieving the outcomes of your choosing. Secret number 3, war games. How to gamify your life to make it more exciting and rewarding. Select your targets and keep score as you execute to create the life you want. Let's dive into secret number 1. Weaponize your mind. How to master your own mind by eliminating negative thought patterns, reframing limiting beliefs, and installing new programs that will get you what you want. When I first started out in business, I was doing okay, but could never seem to get out in front of all the challenges. One day I was having breakfast with a mentor of mine and was venting some frustrations and apparently confessing some of my limiting beliefs to him when he asked me, "What do you know about Alexander the Great?" And then he proceeded to tell me the story about one of the greatest men in history, an early ancestor of ours, a titan of Western civilization, Alexander the Great. Alexander became king of Macedonia at the age of 19 after his father was assassinated. Alexander quickly assumed the mantle of power and swore to avenge his father. Alexander's mother, who was no admirer of her husband Philip, had told Alexander from birth that Alexander's real father was none other than Zeus himself, making Alexander a demigod. Because of Alexander's belief that he was immortal, he naturally believed he could not be killed by mere mortal men, and so he led his men into battle from the front, engaging firsthand in combat in every campaign. And there were many. The power of his belief in himself inspired his men to believe in him too, and this enabled Alexander and his men to do things no one else believed possible. Alexander went on to conquer the entire known world at the time, and even parts that were not yet known. He pushed further east to India and south to Africa, crowning him one of the most successful conquerors and military strategists and most benevolent rulers the world has ever known, even to this day. Now, the first time I heard this, it shined a glaring spotlight on a weakness that I was allowing to creep into my mind. In order to be successful, you need to believe it is possible. And in order to lead others to believe in you, you must first believe in yourself. But I really didn't believe in myself at that time. Maybe it was my lack of formal education, my lack of capital to start with, or something my parents might have said to me long before I could consciously remember. But what I learned that day was simple. If you think you can't, you will always be right. Perhaps some of us would rather be right all the time than be successful. Many of us struggle with false beliefs, limiting beliefs, and negative thought patterns that hold us back. But the only way to achieve a thing is to first believe it is possible. This epiphany led me on a journey to study many of our great ancestors, great men of history that accomplished unbelievable things. What I found was men like Julius Caesar, Napoleon Bonaparte, George Patton, and Donald Trump all shared a peculiar belief system that told them it was not possible to fail because destiny was theirs to manifest. I also studied titans of industry like Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, even Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, and Elon Musk all held similar beliefs. Once I knew I had to change my limiting beliefs in order to become all that I wanted, I sought out to discover how. I trained in psychology from the likes of Carl Jung and Garrett White, neuro-linguistic programming with Tony Robbins and Kaya Redford, even a little hypnosis with Marshall Silver. From all this, I figured out some simple steps to change my own mind and to help others to change theirs too. You see, for us humans, our mind is our weapon. Other animals have different biological weapons to help them survive and thrive. Things like big sharp teeth, claws, strength, speed, camouflage, or wings. But us humans, we just have our cognitive brain. Our brain enabled primitive man to make non-biological weapons out of sticks and stones. Civilized man, our Western ancestors, used our brain to create culture, art, architecture, civilizations, and concepts of justice. When we set our minds to it, our ancestors created ships and navigation systems to circumnavigate the globe, discovering still primitive people and uncharted territories. They built airplanes and rockets, spaceships, and the internet. They discovered ways to farm and irrigate, domesticate animals, and create medicines that have made surviving to adulthood in the Western world almost guaranteed. We created software, robots, and even artificial intelligence. And yet scientists say we have yet to even learn how to use all of our brain's potential. Our brain originally evolved for primitive survival mode, to run from danger, not to walk too close to cliffs, and basically be in constant fear to keep us alive. Unfortunately, many men today still have their brains stuck in this fear mode, but our brain also has a thrive mode, the part that makes us creative, clever, and wise. The part that allows us to choose to be courageous in the face of great risk, even heroic. These are noble endeavors. These things set noble men apart from the others. I am no hero, but through my studies and through trial and error on myself, and then after leading hundreds of people in business, in sports, and competitive activities, I was able to come up with a proven way to weaponize the mind with just a few minutes of dedication each day. My simple-to-use system makes it super easy to eliminate negative thought patterns, reframe limiting beliefs, control negative emotions, and install new programs like they do in the movie The Matrix. I give you a few simple guides to print so you can do the mental exercises to neuro-linguistically reprogram your own mind. This method has helped thousands of men just like you to change the beliefs that no longer serve them, to change bad habits into better ones. There are no funny therapist couches or anything clockwork orange about it. This system enables a man to choose beliefs that serve him so he can lead himself and then lead others. To weaponize your mind is the one thing a man must do to get big results. Secret number 2, we live by a code. How to gain instant trust and rapport with people so you can assemble partnerships, lead teams, and build organizations that are fully committed to achieving the outcomes of your choice. They say women are attracted to a man in a uniform, but that's not it. Women are attracted to men who live by a code. Evolution has led women to seek a man they can count on. Good, bad, or indifferent, criminal or cop, military or royalty. Women are biologically hardwired to desire an ambitious man with integrity to a fixed ethos. This is what a uniform symbolizes. Women instinctively know that if their father, their man, or their sons don't stand for something, they will easily fall for anything. A man who doesn't stand for anything is weak. And weakness is repulsive in any mating ritual in every species. Men also value other men who live by a code, who stand for something with integrity and discipline, especially so in high-risk situations like combat, business ventures, investing, and politics. In order for men to work together, we have to trust one another. And to really trust one another, we need to know what each other stands for, what we will fight for, perhaps even what is worth dying for. To create unity and synergy as a cohesive team, we need to know that we are playing by the same rules, the same values, and share the same ideals about what it means to do the right thing. I first experienced this living by a code when I played high school football. We were not the biggest, the fastest, or even the most talented high school football team. But what our coach instilled in us all summer long, while enduring 100+ degree practices, was that no one would be tougher and no one would outwork us, and we would never play tired in the fourth quarter. We had superior conditioning and mental toughness. Because of this code, my seemingly average football team went deep into the playoffs each year and won several state championships. I also experienced men with a code in prison. The group or groups who stuck together when times got tough, either when pressed by cops or other gangs in the yard, those with a code survived and thrived. And the ones who failed to enforce a code fell by the wayside, or worse. But in my early days of growing a company, I seemed to have forgotten this principle. I hired a bunch of individuals who seemed qualified to do the work, but didn't really jive together to make a well-oiled machine. It wasn't until I got frustrated with turnover and management headaches that I began looking into how to create a culture, a unified group of people, each with their own skill sets, to create synergy together. That is what great leaders do. So I started looking at organizations that were good at taking a group of individuals and getting them to work together with single-mindedness of purpose. Religion has served this purpose throughout history. The Jews are experts at this. Mormons are a good example too. Some city-states, like Sparta, nation-states, and even empires, like the Soviet Union, endured largely because of a shared ideology. Medieval knights had the code of chivalry. Marine Corps, Semper Fi. Navy SEALs, never out of the fight. LAPD, protect and serve. United States of America. We used to be the land of the free and home of the brave, standing for truth, justice, and the American way, before the globalists got their claws on us. Even George Washington and many of our founding fathers, as Freemasons, subscribed to the Code of Enlightenment and the scientific method. The one thing that all well-organized, well-led, cohesive organizations that are capable of pulling off some massive achievements do is they all get each man to swear fealty to a singular code of ethics. After tremendous research, reading lots of books, listening to great leaders, philosophers, and studying highly effective organizations, I took what I saw that worked and adapted it first for myself. Then I tested it with some of my close friends and saw incredible things happen. And then I had to ask myself, what would be possible if we could get a group of men in modern Western civilization to stop acting as liberal individuals and start working together again for a common good, a singular purpose of mind. I look to our ancestors, even stood on the shoulders of titans, to develop the Western warrior code. Western warriors live by a code and set high standards and high ideals for ourselves and for one another. The code will be revealed to you when you get the book, but it is based on the 5 virtues of strength, courage, honor, wisdom, mastery. Living by the code establishes predefined ideals, a higher standard of behavior for each of us to aim for. It's a set of defined ethics that, when followed, will make you good at being a man. When I know you and I and the men standing next to us share the same ancestors, the same values, and the same vision for the future, I know we can work together in synergy to accomplish anything we set our minds to when we conspire to help one another succeed. I envision a nation where Western warriors work together to build businesses and lead thriving organizations, to own and operate commercial real estate together, to dominate industries, sectors, or even cities or states, and to influence our nation, our culture, and all of the Western world through politics. Jack Donovan is famous for saying, "If you are for everyone, all of the time, you really stand for no one." We already know if you don't take a stand for something, you will easily fall for anything. When a group of like-minded men organize with singularity of purpose, everything is possible, even changing the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has. Secret number 3, war games. How to gamify your life to make it exciting and rewarding. Select your targets and keep score as you execute to create the life you want. A few years ago, I was at a sports bar in Coronado. It was a nice place with friendly waitstaff and a big TV behind the bar where there was a basketball game on. I immediately noticed that something on the bar was covering up the scoreboard and the game clock on the TV, and the game was immediately reduced to a bunch of guys jogging up and down the court. Without the score being kept, it didn't matter much if either side was making baskets or not. It didn't matter if the game had just begun or if it was down to the last seconds. Without a score or a game clock, there was no point in watching it. Then I started to remember what life was like for me before, when my life was being played without a scoreboard or a game clock. It kind of felt the same I imagined those players on TV to feel: bored, meaningless, going through the motions, but the motions didn't matter. My life kind of felt that way until Garrett White showed me the game. Have you ever seen a kid who was obsessed with playing a video game? Or maybe it was you. What do gamers do? They practice. Every chance they get, they discuss the game and all of its strategies and tactics and detail with other gamers, just searching to glean on to any slight advantage. The player becomes obsessed with getting to the next level. He pushes himself. He pushes his teammates. And once one problem is solved, the player relishes the next challenge he gets to test his skills against, without fear or apprehension. Competition breeds excellence, even if you're just competing against yourself, but especially when there are competitors to beat and a team to celebrate with. Imagine if you played your game of life with such intensity. What could you possibly achieve if you had such focus, such devotion, such drive to succeed? Imagine what would happen if you installed a scoreboard, built a team around you, and attracted an audience of raving fans to cheer you on in life. Imagine what you would achieve. What would your life be like if you woke up every morning excited to get up and go score? That is what playing the war game is like. In my book, Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, I lay out a detailed map on how to set up your own war game. But here is a brief framework for how the game is played. It's a 90-day game. It's your game, so you decide the outcomes you want to create in those 90 days. You declare outcomes for each of the 4 dimensions of your life: body, being, balance, business. Every day you score your daily firefight, the new Western warrior habits that will ensure you get where you want to go. Each week you declare the target you intend to hit, and then your teammate or your squad holds you accountable or celebrates with you for every win. When you declare a target and fail to hit it, well, there's time to pay the piper too, because the piper always gets paid in the war game. The war game leverages all of the ingredients that make games fun and addictive to play, like competition, accountability, victories, and consequences. A requirement for mastery, synergy, and power. And yes, you will actually get paid to play. If you're good. You can play the war game by yourself if need be, but it's much more enjoyable and effective with a fire team, a partner, to accelerate and magnify both of your results. Then, I'll invite you to play the war game on a Western warrior squad. Imagine having a team of like-minded men conspiring for each other's success in business, in relationships, in health and fitness, and in spirit. Old-school goal setting and vision board making is as futile as playing basketball without keeping score. Thousands of men just like you have created monumental results playing the war game. There are no losers in this game except for those who decide not to play. The mark of a true noble, a warrior, is a man who can set his mind on a target, execute with precision, and hit your mark with predictable accuracy. In this way, you'll be a man that other men can count on, that your woman can count on, that your employees, your investors, your clients, and your community can count on. This is how you become the leader you've been looking for. All right, who's excited about what we talked about so far? Don't worry if you are feeling a little overwhelmed, because we've covered so much. All this stuff is covered in the book. Is it okay with you if I spend a few minutes going over a special offer I created to help you implement all of this? If you don't want to learn this, that's okay. You're welcome to leave right now. For those of you that do want to create massive results in your life, hang tight while I go over my special offer that I know you're not going to want to miss. The book is Be the Leader You've Been Looking For. When you get this book, you'll be able to pursue a life of self-mastery so you can call the shots and not be a slave to your emotions or circumstance. You'll be able to lead men and women in business, investments, and in any endeavor that you choose. You'll be able to attract the woman of your dreams, no matter if you're already married to her or if you guys have yet to meet. You'll have the drive and discipline to weaponize your body and live a fit and healthy lifestyle. Perhaps best of all, you'll be able to actualize your warrior spirit so you can lead from the heart and access a higher power in all that you do. When you have this book, Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, you'll rid yourself of self-doubt, indecision, analysis paralysis. When I was first figuring this stuff out, I kept getting myself lost, distracted. I'd find one component that worked and then start learning the next piece and forget to do the last. So I wrote the entire system down and put it in an illustrated graphic ebook so you can have instant access to everything you need to know, all in one place. Back then, I had to spend tens of thousands of dollars and invested over 10,000 hours to figure this stuff out. But I don't want you to have to recreate the wheel. I'm on a mission to help you thrive and prosper as a new nobility class in Western civilization. And for this reason, I want to give you what I've discovered for a very reasonable price. When you sign up, you're going to get instant access to my ebook, Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, a value of $97 by itself. But wait, I've got more for you. In the book, Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, I lay out the entire way of the Western warrior for you. I show you how to discover your North Star, the guiding light in the night that will always take you to where you want to go, so that you lead a life worthy of leaving a legacy. I explain what it means to be a Western warrior, to resurrect a noble class in the Western world, and becoming a warrior to protect it. We cover the 4 dimensions of being a man: body, being, balance, and business, so you can have it all. You get a rundown on the virtues: strength, courage, honor, wisdom, mastery, and I will reveal to you the warrior code. We will determine what outcomes you want to create in your life, set targets, and implement new daily habits that will get you where you want to go. You're going to learn how to play the war game, how to recruit an accountability partner that we call a fire team. Last but not least, I'm going to show you how to get an invitation to join a Western warrior squad, a band of brothers, so you can leverage the power of synergy in every move you make. This is for the man who wants to level up, who desires to be more and do more with his life than what society led you to believe was possible. It's for men just starting out in business or are already successful at making money and want to scale. It's for a man who desires to have an exciting and passionate relationship with a woman. This is for men who want to belong to a brotherhood of like-minded men who are there to push you, to pull you, to do whatever it takes to get each other across the finish line. This is for men who have a yearning spirit, a warrior spirit, just knowing you were meant to do more and be more in this life. A man who stands for something, who lives by a code, and is able and willing to lead others to be better men besides. This is for men who want to wield influence and power in his community, in business, real estate, and politics. This is who the way of the warrior is for, to be the leader you've been looking for. Now, because I know everyone is busy these days, I went ahead and recorded the book in a downloadable audio format, too. This makes it quick and easy to get the info and get started. So you get the book, Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, a $97 value, and the Be the Leader audiobook, a $47 value. The next thing I've got for you is a 60-day accelerator program called The Warpath. This gives you one short video each morning for 60 days to help you learn all the ins and outs. Learning to weaponize your mind, how to set up your war game, tips and advice on how to live by the code. I spent many days creating this video system for you, and it's a chance for you and I to get to know each other as I deliver each and every video for you on camera. By the time you complete this, you and I will have much in common and much further things to talk about. I've sold the system alone for $297 in the past. So far, you're going to get the Be the Leader You've Been Looking For illustrated graphic ebook, valued at $97. The Be the Leader audiobook download, valued at $47. And the Warpath 60-day accelerator video series, valued at $297. This brings the total value of my offer to $441. And I have more for you. To make the implementation of becoming a leader and living the way of the Western warrior bulletproof for you, I went ahead and created some documents, cheat sheets, if you will, to make your implementation seamless. You'll be able to download these PDF docs that we call war maps, and you'll be able to print them out to use as you go about your daily firefight, setting up your next 90-day war game, weaponizing your mind, and recruiting a fire team. These war maps are indispensable to your success at becoming the leader you've been looking for and beginning to live the Western warrior way. These war maps have a value of their own of $97. Altogether, you'll get the Be the Leader You've Been Looking For illustrated graphic ebook, valued at $97. The Be the Leader audiobook download, valued at $47. And the Warpath 60-day accelerator video series, valued at $297. And you're going to get the war maps to help you implement everything you've learned, a value of $97. This brings us to a total value of $538. The next thing I'm going to throw in for you is exclusive access to an encrypted chat room so you can communicate and share your stories with other men going through it with you. This alone is priceless. So you're getting Be the Leader You've Been Looking For ebook, valued at $97. You'll get the Be the Leader audiobook as well, valued at $47, and the Warpath 60-day accelerator video series, valued at $297. You're getting the war maps, valued at $97. Access to our encrypted chat room, priceless. Total value you're getting here, $538 worth of life-altering gear. Now, I'm not asking you to invest that much money in yourself today. No, I told you I've got a special offer for you. But if you did invest in all of this, and all it did was half of what I said it would that be worth it to you? And what if you got this, and all it did was help you be a better leader for your family, your coworkers, your employees, even your woman? What would that be worth? And what if you got this and all it did was help you start or expand a business you've been thinking about, what would that be worth? And what if you invested in yourself today, and this system helped guide you to a life as a new nobility in American society, where you weaponized your mind, lived by a code, lived passionately as you achieved your outcomes, and lived your mission with purpose? That would easily be worth 10 times $538. I know, because it cost me more than that. But today I've got a special for you because, like I said earlier, I'm on a mission to get this in the hands of as many American men as possible. Men who are feeling the nudge from their warrior spirit. So I went ahead and dropped the amount I'm asking you to invest in yourself just for today. And I'm dropping it down to just what it costs me to deliver it to you. Does that sound fair? So you're going to get Be the Leader You've Been Looking For, illustrated graphic ebook instantly when you decide today. You'll also get the Be the Leader audiobook, the 60-day accelerator videos we call the Warpath, all the war maps, access to our encrypted chat room, not for the true value price of $538. No, not today. Today you get all of this for just $97. So right now, you've got two choices. You can choose to walk away from this opportunity, and nothing will be different. Life for you will just continue to be the way it has been. Or you can choose to be a man, make a decision, and invest in yourself right now. You will learn to weaponize your mind, how to lead men, how to build a business. You'll be able to attract the woman of your dreams because quality women desire a man who lives by a code and leads a life of passion and accomplishment. You'll have the drive and discipline to weaponize your body and live a fit and healthy lifestyle. And you'll be presented with the option of joining an organized group of like-minded men who you could build a business with, own real estate together, and influence politics. You can choose to have all of that today for just $97. Or you can decide now that nothing changes for you. It's that simple. But let me go ahead and make this even easier for you. Once you've checked out my book and watched the videos, if you decide that being a warrior, a Western warrior, is not right for you, simply shoot me an email and I will refund 100% of your investment in the program. No questions asked, no harm, no foul. Because I only want to work with men who know this is exactly the right place for them to be. I guarantee 100% of your money back if you decide this isn't the right fit for you. Now that I have removed any financial risk, isn't it worth gambling just a few minutes of your time to find out if this is right for you? Even if my program only accomplished 1/2 of what I said it could, wouldn't that be worth it? I'm looking to create an America for Americans. Gung-ho, G.I. Joe, Maverick in Top Gun. I want us to be the good guys again. Land of the free and home of the brave. Truth, justice, and the American way. The warrior way. Striving for excellence. Idealizing virtue. Living by a code. Connected to a higher power. Let's make a difference in the world because we know how to lead. This is my vision for our future. This is what Western Warrior is all about. I'm looking for just a few dozen guys to join me right now because I want to be able to put all of my energy and focus into building them up and making sure they succeed as leaders, as warriors. For this reason, I'm not going to be able to have this offer up at this new low price for very long, so be sure to take action now.